Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Art of Being a Woman. I'm your host, Courtney, and today we are discussing the art of creating change in your life. I am really excited to talk about this topic, and I feel like I say that every week, but I mean it every week, especially with this one because it was inspired by my first ever written post on my Instagram account. She is Artfully Woman. And when I started this account, I really just wanted to create a space where I can reflect on my journey as I look within and I grow and I become a better version of myself. And my first post was called The Art of Embracing Change because I felt as if in that point of my life was changing. I was in college and I was wrapping up a master's program that was very new to me and nothing I've ever done before. And I was about to step into my professional career, which was also something I've never experienced before. And so it was a lot of change. The people in my life were changing, my hobbies were changing, and I felt that it was good, even though I felt nervous and uncomfortable because I couldn't predict the future. I knew that it was all good and it was all pushing me in the right direction. As I was reflecting on some of my initial posts, I really thought to myself, okay, embracing change is great when it's happening to you and it's out of your control and you sort of have no choice but to go with the flow. But what if you're in a point in your life when you feel stagnant and you feel like things are not changing and you're living the same day over and over again? What do you do then when you crave that change and that growth in your life? And I've definitely had so many moments in my life when I felt stagnant and I felt like my life wasn't changing. And so that's why I created this post on my Instagram account. And I didn't expect for many people to take to this topic. I like to see how each post performs. And based on the ones that perform the best, that's how I know what to talk about on the podcast. And so when I was looking at all the posts recently, this one did very well. And I love that. I love that so many of you desire change in your life because it means so many of you desire growth and you want to evolve. And that's the first step. So, the four steps we're going to get into are the following. We have one, decide that you want more. Two, let growth become your hunger. Step three, stop letting change feel like a fight. And four, lower the effort and increase the consistency. Let's start with step one. Decide that you want more. The truth is, nothing changes until we change. Many times we can desire for something and we can crave something, but we don't do anything about it. It just stays as a thought and an idea and a wish and a dream. And many times we can allow ourselves to believe that if it's meant to be, it will fall into our lap. If it's meant to be, things will just magically happen and the changes that we seek in life will come naturally. But the truth is, if we don't decide to act on our desires and our dreams, they will stay as dreams. And this is something that I had to come to terms with recently. Before I started this account, I have had this intuitive nudge to start a podcast. And for the people that know me personally, I am the last person to really create any sort of social media platform. Let's just put it that way. When it comes to my own personal social media accounts, I barely post and I barely interact with the world on a global level. I don't post on Twitter. I'm not a Facebook person. I never have been. And I never thought that I would be, but I kept having this calling I'll phrase it that way, to start a podcast. And it was so bizarre to me because part of me did want to do that. I wanted to connect with the world in a way that was authentic to me. But at the same time, I felt that if I have to go through all this trouble of pursuing my dreams, why bother? Maybe it wasn't meant for me. And so it wasn't until this voice in my head got louder and louder and more consistent that I decided to just go for it. And I decided to take imperfect action towards my goals and be consistent for a year straight and see what happens. That's honestly how I got to this point right now. So if you have something in your life that you want to change, whether it's your health, your job, your living situation, whatever it may be, take that desire and turn it into action. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to know every single step of the way, but take the first step. And I promise you, once you take that first step, the second step will appear to you. And it's not easy. It's not easy to have blind faith at all, but you also have to allow yourself to look back in life. When did you ever truly fail? Because I don't believe that we can ever fail in life. There's no such thing as a loss. We either have an obvious win, whether it's success or something materialistic, or we learn a lesson. And although that is something that cannot be seen with the eyes and it cannot be felt with our hands, it is so valuable to learn life lessons because it's what keeps us going when life gets tough in the future. And so allow yourself to take a leap of faith on yourself because you have gotten to this point in your life and you're fine and you will always be fine, whether you decide to create change in your life or not create change in your life. Many times, our mind will convince us to play it small because it's predictable, and predictable feels very safe. But over time, you're creating a prison for yourself where you don't allow yourself to explore and take risks. We're not on this planet to play it small, and we're not on this planet to play it safe. This life is not just about going to work, getting a paycheck, buying food, buying clothes, spending time with friends and family, and then you're done. At least that's not what I believe. I believe that we all have a purpose bigger than ourselves, and we might not know what it is. It's okay if you don't. But allow yourself to explore things that you haven't done before. The little nudges that you get in your mind, whether it's you see this girl on Instagram and she's riding a horse, and you think, oh, I've always wanted to go horseback riding. That's a nudge. Do it. Go do horseback riding. Even if it makes no sense, you never know where it may lead you. By allowing yourself to take one simple action towards the things that you want in life, you will notice how more ideas start to unlock for you in your mind. All of a sudden, you're allowing yourself to dream again and to have more desires. And I promise one of them will lead you to your own fulfillment in life. Step 2, we have let growth become your hunger. I'm going to use my example of the podcast and my Instagram account because it's the most recent example I could think of. When we are deciding that we are going to create change in our life, it's like training for a marathon. It's something that you're going to have to commit to daily, and eventually it will allow you to achieve a long term goal. And so consider your dreams and the change that you're seeking in life as your marathon. It's your long term goal, it's the big finale. But now, what you need to do is honestly forget about that end point. Forget about the actual achievement that you're aiming for. Focus on the daily steps you're going to take to bring you closer to that point. When I started this podcast and when I started writing on Instagram, I gave myself this goal to be consistent for a year straight because I feel like it can be discouraging to tell yourself that you want to reach a certain level of success, but many people do that and they do reach their goals. And so, if that is something that motivates you, then you can allow your achievement and your end result to be your hunger. For me, I really enjoy knowing that I was consistent at something for a long period of time. I love strengthening my discipline in life because I believe that when I keep promises to myself consistently, there is nothing that I can't do. And it's beyond just following my dreams. It can also be with my health and my fitness and saving money, anything, you name it. And so the more that you lean into growth and the more that you allow it to excite you and to propel you forward, the more momentum you start to build within yourself, and you almost create this built up energy within you that is just ready to be used to fuel your dreams. And when we do this, when we change our mindset on growth and we change our mindset on changing ourselves, it won't feel like a burden. It won't feel like we're doing something we don't want to do. Step 3, we have stop letting change feel like a fight. Many times, internally, we have a fight with ourselves. Should we change and let go of everything that has been working for us up until this point? Or should we stay exactly the way we are? Because if something isn't broken, why fix it? And I hear both of these points because I've definitely been on both of these sides in my life. But I will say that if you have desires and you have goals for yourself, it doesn't matter how big or small they are, and you decide to sleep on them, you're going to have to face that you held yourself back your whole life. And that could be harsh, but it's reality. Many times we stop ourselves from bettering our own lives because we don't want to change. And that's fine. That's a choice. We have to choose change. Change does sometimes seek us out in life, but not in the ways that we think. Life is not going to force us to chase our dreams, but it will force us to realize that we're getting in our own way. And if we want to wait for life to change us, we're going to feel that pain that we waited longer than we needed to. And that doesn't feel good ever. For me, I realized I had to challenge the way that I saw change because change always felt like a disruptor in my life. And so anytime I had this idea to change, I would just dismiss it because life is good now. Why would I disrupt the good that I'm experiencing? And what's the rush? I have my whole life to do new things. But the truth is, even if my life gets disrupted, even if I change something about myself or something that I do and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, then I can go back to what I've always known. It's always there for me. I can always go back into old ways if the new ways don't work out. But the truth is, I never end up wanting to go back to the old versions of myself. I believe a big part of not fighting change is internal. And you really have to challenge the beliefs that you have about change. It's not unsafe, it's just new territory. I also believe that when we allow change to feel like a fight and we resist it, it's because we have a fear. We have a fear of the unknown. And I remember I was taking a business class, and one of the professors said such an incredible story. Even though I'm not majoring in business, I just felt that I learned a tremendous lesson from his experience. And basically, he was an HR manager of multiple employees in a very big company. And he explained that he had this amazing employee that was very good at his job, and the business was expanding, and so they wanted to give him a new job. They wanted to give him new responsibilities, a new department to cover. And this professor believed that this man is capable of way more than what he's doing right now in the company. And so he went over to this man in the company and told him, "Look, we're going to change your department because we know that you can do it." And this man resisted the idea. He said, "No, thank you. I'm not interested. I like exactly where I am. I am very good at it, and I don't want to have to start from scratch in a whole new department." And eventually, the professor talked him into trying it out. And over time, he became very good, and he ended up leveling up in this major company. And I just loved that story And it is a true story, by the way, because I relate to it so much. I feel like so many times in life when I personally resist change, even though I know that I want it, it's because I don't want to be a beginner again. I don't want to feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Many times we work so hard to get to a point in our life when we feel confident in where we are and who we are and what we're doing and what makes us happy. And so to really look at our lives and say, you know what, let's start this all over again, it doesn't feel good because who wants to start from scratch, especially when we have no clue what the future holds or how long it's going to take us to feel better than we do right now. And so the professor ended up explaining that many times we do need people in our life that believe in us more than we believe in ourselves so that they can push us in the right direction. But many times we don't have people like that in our lives. And we need to be that person for ourselves. We need to tell ourselves, look, even if we have no proof that you can handle something bigger and better, you have to try. Because if it doesn't work out, you can say, at least I tried. At least I didn't give up before I even started. And so I hope that story helps you take a leap of faith on yourself. You're more capable than you could possibly imagine. And don't allow your mind to make you quit before you even start. Step number 4, lower the effort and increase the consistency. I love this step because anytime I set a goal for myself and it's a major goal, it always feels so out of reach and it becomes discouraging. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with having big goals and big dreams. It's just that it shouldn't be the only thing you're looking forward to. We need to break up our long term goals into short term goals. So, whatever your long term goal is, and we can use fitness as an example. If your long term goal is to lose 20 pounds, then a short term goal can be lose 1 pound a week. And if that is something that you're noticing is not attainable for you, then you lessen it again because you have to make sure that your goals are achievable. Otherwise, you're going to lose motivation and you're going to give up. So, if you are in a place in your life where you're trying to implement change, but you just feel so discouraged because you're not seeing the results, I promise you it's because your goals are too big and the time frame that you could be putting on your goals are too small. Many times I will set a goal for myself and I will completely forget about the long-term goal. Because if I keep looking at that long term goal, I'm going to feel like I'm falling short. And the truth is, I'm not. And so that is why I always emphasize to myself consistency and discipline over everything. That is the real win. When we fail to create change in our life, it's because we expected too much from ourselves too soon. It's very discouraging. Even the brain rejects things that feel like a burden. And so when you put this expectation on yourself that is just so unattainable in this moment, it's not going to stick. It's not going to be exciting. The more that we can make our goals effortless, the less resistance we're going to feel when we're creating this change, and the more we can be consistent. And when we are consistent, that is when we create big change. Many times, when someone creates a big change overnight, it doesn't last. Think about the weight loss shots that are very trendy right now. People can take them and lose weight quickly. But again, if you didn't put in that consistency to work towards changing your lifestyle, it's going to be very easy to gain the weight right back. And so that's how it goes with any goals in life. There's a reason why there has to be a process before we achieve something big in our life. A tip for this last step, take your biggest goal that you have on your mind and shrink it into a 2-minute version and allow that to be something that you commit to every single day because we have 2 minutes every single day. And watch how not only are you getting closer to your goals, but you're building discipline and your mindset is becoming a lot more confident in your ability to achieve your goals. I hope this episode gave you the boost and the motivation that you needed to reawaken your desire to change. Whatever it is that you would like to embark on within your own life, know it's possible. The fact that you have this desire to change and to do something new is your sign that you should pursue it. It's all about committing to it and resisting any opposing thoughts and feelings that try to convince you that you shouldn't go after it. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this week's episode. I hope you have an amazing week. I love you all. Until next time, bye for now.